Hey, welcome to TDD.Academy. We're here with David Kuntz, the solopreneur building, cornering the market on baseball scorecards through iOS devices.
Yeah, that's about it. Cornering the market.
David, what should we talk about today?
Well, up on the screen there, I've got I've got the kind of the existing code. It's running in the preview canvas there, and we're seeing kind of the first inning. And the problem I've run into now is that with trying to add more players when they rotate around and get more innings on the screen, I found out that I've modeled, well, the shortcuts we made to model some stuff is I've got the at-bats in the player. And so if a player has two at-bats, then there's no way to do that, to model that. So I want to remove the at-bat from the player structure and put it into the play structure where it was supposed to live anyway.
Oh, you're saying it's supposed to live anyway. Tell me more about that. How do you know? So, David, I'm a new developer. How do I know where something should live?
Well, I did a little bit of modeling with index cards and stuff like that before I started, so that I would know how a baseball game works and stuff. And in doing that modeling, I discovered a need for this thing called a play, which in baseball is pretty much, it starts with the pitcher throwing the ball and batter trying to hit the ball and put it into play. And if they hit the ball and put it into play, then the fielders run around trying to catch the ball and then throw the guy out at one of the bases. So all that really constitutes a play. There's other types of plays in baseball that don't start with the pitcher necessarily, like when a player steals a base or something.
So when you're using these words like plays and bases, where are you getting these words from? Like, why is your code reflecting what you're saying?
Oh, that's the domain of baseball. So in large part, I'm talking to you in terms of baseball lingo, and every now and then throwing in a little bit of programming and Swift coding stuff. But mostly when I'm discussing this, I'm talking at it from the standpoint of somebody who knows a lot about baseball. Whether I do or not is questionable. I don't know a lot about baseball. I I played at it for a while.
Okay. So
But
so is the idea then is to take that knowledge in your head about the domain of baseball, and then put that knowledge into the code.
yeah,
Is that the idea? I mean,
yeah,
otherwise we can name our classes like Ralph and Bill and things like that, and maybe make it really hard for people to understand the code later.
yeah, that would make it hard to understand if things were named after people. But yeah.
But I guess
So
if we name it if we use the domain of baseball, for example, that means another developer who knows something about the domain of baseball will kind of understand it a lot more easily.
yeah, and so maintaining the code in the long run is, if you're using the domain of your business or whatever, that that language becomes something that things start to make a lot more sense, and you can piece together various pieces of without actually looking at the code sometimes. You would know how things ought to behave and that sort of thing. So
So,
getting started
so
here
you're saying
with,
that if another person knows something about baseball and Swift, they can look at this code and they'd say, "What? Why are the at-bats in player? That doesn't make sense." And that's the realization you came to, right?
yeah, it was a shortcut to get something on the screen. And then I'll show you what I did. I went down here and, well, I actually tried to write a unit test, but I went down here and added a player for I was getting ready to fill out the third inning and add some more inning stuff. And when I did, the code, the compiler started throwing error messages at me about reusing Duke, the player, Duke Java, and trying to create another player and reuse him. And then it hit me. It's like, oh, this atBat can't be like this. I can't add another row like this. So I have to make this abstraction fit reality way better. And so in baseball, the player comes back up to bat about every 2 or 3 innings. And so they've got to be able to do that and then have a legitimate place. So to store that play or that at bat. So we've got to remove the at bat from the player and put it into where it needs to belong. So I'm going to just comment this arrowing code out so that it doesn't show up. And then, for the life of me, I don't know where to start. I probably start in the wrong place.
Did you mention where you're putting that? So where does that bat going to go?
I think what we do is put it into place so that the play is an at bat. Those two things are really kind of synonymous. And right now we just have this simple play class that doesn't do anything and was just modeling, sitting here going, okay, I think I'm going to need a play and that sort of thing. And then it's going to get passed into the scorecard, and the scorecard is going to take a play there and save that play in a list of plays and do some sort of math to add up the score or whatever is. That's still kind of fuzzy to me, but a play is getting passed in or an at-bat is getting passed in, and then the scorecard's got to keep record of that. And so right now our content view, which is displaying all this stuff, is really not using the code that was, it's not using what's going to be necessarily. It's just using raw data like the players and stuff like that. It really should be basing its decisions on something like the scorecard.
Wow. Okay. So we're doing some house cleaning, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because we started off with just, get something working, and we do have something working, and we can see that, yeah, that looks like kind of, I want to see that now. I want to see 9 innings of that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm hitting the problem. So.
Cool. Right on. So where should we start?
Well, I could remove the thing, or I could start adding it. And I'm kind of the opinion either one of those is fine to add the info into play and scorecard, And I think that's going to have a ripple effect throughout the code because of all these. I think I'm going to need this classes that I've designed in modeling that may or may not actually be doing anything useful right now.
Okay.
Did that make sense?
Yeah, it did. I'm trying to decide if I have an opinion on which to do, add or remove. I think I would go with add, because let's say at the end of a little, let's say we spend 30 minutes, we think, oh, we want to stop now. You have a functioning prototype with the old player with the atBat, and if you take it out now, you're losing a little bit of functionality until you get it in the other place. So I'm suggesting that unless there's a conflict, we should just try to do the add to the new code, and then we swap it in when we're ready.
Okay. I'm good with that. So I think somewhere in play we need to add a property here for and play needs to be given what happened with the play. So I think we'll do, let's do it up here first.
So hang on a second. This is where we're going to start talking about TDD, right? To test drive this. So yeah, I was talking to my friend Taylor, by the way, and Taylor stepped by and was, he's a great guy. He's always about he's about dressing good and having good looking code. He likes to, do some poolside coding whenever he gets the chance. He talks about how microtests should be really fast, don't use networks or file systems, and always properly styled and repeatable. And then he sent me this Christmas card. This is a season's greeting from Taylor Swift. So he's getting ready for the holidays. I just wanted to let me know that he's thinking of us, David. He was so that's it. I think that's it for now. So I suppose in honor of Taylor, we probably ought to write a test first. Where do you have a player? You have a play. Do I see a play unit test? I don't think I do.
I do, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I created that on the sly last week.
Oh,
week.
Are all your tests passing right now?
That is a great question.
It looks like
they did a second ago.
Okay.
Or 20 minutes ago. But
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Boom. There we are. So let's take a look at playtest and just do some test-driven design. So how do we want play to receive information about atBat? So I see test.
So I think what we want to do is when we get in there, I don't know what to call this test yet, but if I were just calling play, I think we want to call play something like this. Play.
Can you write it in the code? Just go ahead and build a test. You could do func. We're going to add a play or add an atBat. I'm not sure. That'll work. And then do what you were just going to do. You're going to do play.
Okay, I think right now it's taking a description, so we'll let it keep doing that.
Okay.
This is kind of, in my thinking, this is kind of what the umpire would say, or not the umpire, the announcer would say when a play happens. So imagine that Taylor's batting and he makes a single. We'll have let's see. So that's kind of what the announcer would say, and then the recording of the play, the outcome of that play is the single, and in baseball you record that on your scorecard as a 1B. It's the
So what's the so this is a little bit existential. So okay. So the play has a description, and then it has the shorthand code word that goes up on the
yeah,
scorecard. Oh, and so this
and,
means the play has happened, because you're
yeah.
okay.
And so we should probably put a
All right.
Swift parameter name on that.
Okay.
So that's the beginning of a test.
All right.
We've got failing.
How do we confirm? Yeah, it's the compiler. It'll yell at you a little bit. It's all right. We'll fix it later. So what is the? So how do we now confirm that play remembers or holds state for our atBats?
We're gonna ask the player inside of play. We're gonna have a list. See, it won't give me
Help.
help because of the error. So
Yeah,
I want to fix the compile error so that I can get the help.
Let me think. So list would be a parameter. Okay. How about this? So maybe you're right, but let's try to push ahead a little bit more. So this is a list.
Yeah, it's like list of players.
Property. Is this a list property or?
It's going to be an array of players for right now.
Okay. And so if you type in front of that, type xct assert, that line you have at 32, just type xct assert equal. And then parentheses. And what do you expect to get out of this list? It's a probably going to have multiple. Yeah, there you go.
It's going to be the play.
And it's a list
so
of
that play, then I would want to get its outcome or whatever. I don't know what it would be called. So we get that outcome and then compare it to the outcome we expect, which is a string of 1B.
Okay.
For that play got recorded and kept. And this array here should probably be like 0, the first. Yeah.
So go to the front of it now and put in your 1B. You got to swap your 1B and your you got it in the wrong order. Just put what you expect at the front and comma, and then you got it. Okay. And so really right now we're just trying to see if this looks sensible, and we'll adjust as we get the IntelliSense working. Okay, that looks all right. I mean, okay, so play, list, outcome. Does that strike okay with you? Does that sit with you pretty well?
Yeah, it's terrible right now, but I'd rather get stuff working and mutate it along the way when I go, oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong word.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, let's fix some of these code errors then. Like on line, that first one, I wonder if it'll fix it for you. If you go to the line, can you click on that? Does it have insert func? So we can insert the function.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because I misspelled it and I called it fun. That's not fun. So there we go.
Oh, and what are we testing? We're testing that a play happened. And it's one single.
Test.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, you got it. And then go and click on that next quick fix. Maybe it'll fix it for you. The atBat.
No, it has to be a little dot inside the thing for the quick fix to work.
Oh, okay. It's a good tip. All right. Well,
yeah, that's an X inside if you can see it close enough. But,
yeah.
That's just saying, yeah, you gotta. I can't fix that for you. So I'm gonna have to go into play, and
so it's that init function, right?
Yeah, that init function, and right now it's got this underbar for description. which means it's not required.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get rid of that because that kind of throws me all the time. So
You're gonna
I'm
require
going to
it.
make it require that you pass in a description, and then you require that you get an atBat, and this will be a string.
Cool.
And
Now go. So we're trying to get to the state where we can run the test before you add code. So don't add that yet. So the TDD police will be showing up here pretty soon. You don't need the public yet. You just want to make it compile and run the test before you add that code in.
Okay. Do you think it'll compile now?
I don't know. You have to probably go look at the test and see.
I say no.
Yeah. Good guess.
It's
So it looks like it's upset.
Okay. Well, that's play generator and play generator and play generator and play generator, and then this is down here in play test.
Yeah. So we got to do a big update now to all of our users of play, if that's required. Which.
So I also removed the description, the underbar, so now description should be required too.
Yeah, I'd do some copy pasting of description colon and then go visit your other sites and update those call sites.
Okay, and now atBat is required in these other places. So
yeah,
we want to go over here and put
play is equal to play atBat. So it was a swing. Okay. Start play. So init. So we're initializing.
Yeah, this this play generator was an idea brainstorming that I would. Originally, I had the concept that I would have a play generator that would just throw out random plays that the system would respond to, and then we would check whether or not it was responding properly.
Okay.
So I wanted a kind of a random play generator, and I haven't built it yet, but we can build it anytime we decide to.
Yeah.
Right now it's using play, so we have to fix it up. So then extra argument atBat. What's the extra about that?
Yeah, I wonder if it didn't compile the new
hit
play
the
yet.
build again and see what's going on. And now we get missing argument for parameter atBat in call.
Oh, that's true. It doesn't have it. That needs a description and an atBat.
Add description.
Yeah, got a typo on that description.
Yep. I can't type and stop in the middle of a word. I'll get it wrong every time. Thank you. Okay, so let me hit build again and see if we get any better here.
It's like another one in the test now. Baseball test has one issue over on the left-hand pane. What's that?
So that's where I am, and it's this issue here. Oh. Its list is not the right.
Oh, okay. That's our next one.
Word.
And there's no fix, I guess, is what you're going to say, because there's it's icon or.
Yeah, but I can go back over here to play and look at it.
All right. Oh, now we're going to make that.
Oh, no, it doesn't have anything.
Yeah, you were going to type in something. Was that maybe you were going to type in that attribute or property, whatever it was?
Yeah, so right now we're passing in an atBat, but we're not storing it anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. So to make the API happy, though, we need to declare a property.
You want to declare that property?
Yeah, because you have to. You're required to get the test to run. We're just trying to get the test to execute.
Okay.
And it's a list, right? So I don't know if that's the right data type.
Well, that's what's being passed in. We need to store it.
Well, the property. So you got in the test you have player.atBat, and then you're assuming atBat's an array. It looks like, or
oh, you know, that's wrong. As I sit here and think about it, that's wrong. A play needs to be an individual play, and then the scorecard should keep the list of them.
Okay, there we are. So back at the test, then you can change that to. I gotta remember that keyboard shortcut to change navigation.
We don't have a scorecard yet here in this thing.
Right. So down in their test, there you are. You have an outcome and a list. So you're just going to get an outcome? Is that the property that you want to check?
Well, I want to get that from the scorecard.
Okay.
So I'm going to...
So that's for later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to add a scorecard into here?
Well, I'm trying to abide by your rules, but I'm not good at abiding by the rules. I'm good at throwing shit at it until it works.
So let's see here. Do we want to add a scorecard coupling into this? If we add a scorecard coupling, we are now going to be doing TDD on scorecard. Let's just see how it goes. This is weird to me, but let's just go for it.
Yeah. See, I won't.
Because otherwise you need a way to test it. And if you don't have a view into it, then you can't test it. So, yeah, let's build a scorecard. We can move that test to the scorecard later. And that, because this is really returning a scorecard test, which is okay. We'll move it later. Okay, all right?
Okay. So we started and went the wrong way, which I knew was going to happen.
Well,
I just didn't know what the right way was. So, pardon me. Okay, so scorecard has no member list. So if I go over to scorecard, takes a play.
Good.
We set that up already, and in a score, and it has a list of plays, but it's not. Oh yeah, I did do this the other day, and it's doing an append the play to the list of plays.
Okay.
It's not returning it in any way, so.
Can I see your scorecard tests? I'm trying to get awareness of what you've already got tests for. All right, so you have like scorecard, you create a play, and then you have card.score a play, and that says Taylor gets walked. So I think we're really just extending these tests. We don't need that other code anymore. Test, there is a list. So you have a scorecard, you create another play, and now all those plays need to be updated to handle the atBat. Oh, that's why they're missing stuff. Okay, cool. So you already got the test for it, David. What? Oh, this is the test. Scorecard tests. Right. You didn't write this today. This is older tests that need to be updated now because we have a changed player. So you don't need that other test anymore. Yeah, let's just update these tests to be the test that we had thought we were going to write in play. So play test, you can either delete it or something, and because you don't need that last test we added. Boom. There we are. Yay, we get to delete some code.
Okay, so we go over to scorecard test, and it's dying because of the atBat thing. Yeah. We need to play proper. And a walk is BB in baseball notation.
Okay. And now, maybe update your X. Yeah, okay, I'll let you, go ahead and fix this too. We got it. I wish I'd talked you out of taking off the description. That would have saved us a lot of steps because it wasn't a necessary move at that point in time.
Yes, it was. It caused more problems, but that's the way I code. I cause a lot more problems than I fix.
You're trying to maximize learning. That's a very wise thing.
So looky there, build still failing. Let's see where it's failing at. Click up here.
Yeah, we have to remember to come back to this and update it a little bit.
Okay. Return from initializer without initializing all.
Yeah. Swift compiler says, hey, hold on a minute. Your atBat has something. So can you just initialize it to nil for now? We're going to make a mistake on purpose until we get a test that forces us to fix it. Ha! See, take that, Swift compiler.
Cannot be assigned.
Okay, empty string.
The next best thing.
That's interesting. So we're fighting this thing. So that's a play, and we don't have tests for play right now. So we're going to be testing against Scorecard, which is going to cause us to come back into play to make some changes. Interesting. Yeah, this happens sometimes to me too, but it's not so usual. Yeah. All right. So here we are. Taylor gets walked. Okay, now these tests. Let's update the XCT assert. So because
I'm doing it backwards. Expected is comes first. Is that right?
Yeah. Just before you get mad at me later if I'm wrong, I'm gonna Google it over here on my iPad.
I don't think I'll get mad at you. I'll just say, "Wow, you were so confident."
Well, that's the way it always is with these tests. So
it's supposed to be that way.
I remember last week we worked together. You were twisting my mind because I'm like, oh my God, it's opposite of what it always is. How could it do this to me? But then I think I think it was just a mistake.
That was the equals plural or singular?
It's singular.
Assert equals. I didn't go look that up to see if all the other ones are.
There is no plural assert equals in XKey in X whatever in Swift. Okay, and then you're testing the description, and you have some atBat stuff to work out too.
Okay, so we've got, all right, these tests are passing, or that green is from the last run, and we don't know if we run it again. I just ran it again, and now I've got build failures over here. Let's see what they are. Missing argument labeled description. Yep, over here's another one. Doing the shortcut there didn't help me too much. We'll give it a bogus walk because I don't know what this thing is supposed to do. But there.
Okay.
All right, I've got good builds now, I think.
Yeah. Let's go back to that test because we have a little bit more to add to it on the scorecard. Yeah, scorecard test. So you're checking for the description. What do you want to check on how do you want to get the, what'd you say, the outcome? Whatever word you were using?
Yeah, that's now called the atBat, but I was using different words. So, yeah, so if we say lit outcome, so the outcome of this particular play is going to be scorecard, list of plays, the first one, and then the atBat.
Okay.
And then, so that's the outcome. Then we'll come down here and go XCT assert. equal, and we expect this thing to be a base on balls and outcome.
So according to the documentation, XCTAssert doesn't care about what the order at all. So apparently you could flip them around, which is going to be, to me that'll be like, oh my God, what are you doing? But it looks like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, when it does an equals, it's going to. Isn't that going to have something to do with what it says on the error message or whatever?
Right.
So right now,
I'm just telling you what the Apple documentation says. So when we observe a failure and think about it, maybe we'll have a stronger opinion. If the message makes sense no matter what, then it makes sense no matter what. But
okay.
This is a case of flexibility according to the documentation I'm seeing. So we'll find out here. We're going to have some failing test cases here any minute.
I'm going to run it and it's going to pass, I think.
Wow. How is that? Well, that'll be amazing. Let's see. I expected to have a compile error, but it didn't. Oh, that's right. You wrote some code, so I don't know what you have. There we are. Okay, there's the message. It says failed. BBB is not equal to the other thing. And so it's pretty agnostic, you see, because the other testing frameworks say test expected blah, but got blah. In this case, they're being very agnostic, so they're supporting their flexibility. All right, well, there we are. I won't bother you about that anymore.
Well, I just learned something there because I always hated getting the expected wrongs in the wrong place in those other Java languages. And so that kind of seems good. So we have a failing test.
Sweet.
I was
ding,
wrong.
ding, 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 ding. Celebrate.
And so where is that? That is in the play or in the scorecard?
That should be in scorecard. There you are. You're in scorecard now. I think so. I believe you're going to have to fix it in two spots, both of them. But right now, let's look at scorecard if you don't mind. So because you're asking scorecard something, and you ask scorecard list of plays equals a play array, boom, and then done. Okay, so it looks like that functionality is already written correctly. It appears. So then I just go fix it in play, and I think you're done.
And so here in play, we now need to pass in
actual
plays. Yeah. So this atBat gets copied across into the property atBat.
Run the test.
Save that.
You should probably run them all because you're changing. Oh, there we are.
Okay.
So when you click that one of those green dots, does it run all the tests or just that one? When you're
depends on which one you click. These very precise dots are just running one test. If I click on the folder up here at the top, it runs all of them.
Go ahead and tap
so
that.
I'll run all of them again.
Because as long as your tests are fast, you might as well run them all because it'd be a pity to discover a problem later. Well, here we are. So done. You've refactored the play to atBat into your scorecard. Now that I see some things, I can see, well, we could have written it. We could have TDD'd this on play through playtest as well, because I kept thinking there wasn't a property for atBat, but there was. It was right there in front of my eyes. I just wasn't paying attention. So, so we could have done. We could have added a unit test into play. Right now, you're getting the code coverage through Scorecard.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah, Scorecard. So personally, what I would do, because I'm a little bit, I guess, anal maybe, is I would go ahead and add a test into play, just testing that new functionality in play. So for example, see your function test basic play init. you added something to play init. So you should add, I would suggest add another XCT assert right after that one and check that your atBat is working correctly. So you could, yeah. This is a case where we're adding in a test that maybe we don't need to add because it's already covered in another test. But the problem is there's not a, the way I write my unit tests or micro tests, there's a one-to-one correspondence between the capability of the unit and what's in the test. And we don't have that one-to-one because we had to use Scorecard, or we decided to use Scorecard a while back.
Okay.
And now that should work too.
So that should work. Should we make sure it fails?
Well, you could by...
I mean, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Inject a failure sort of thing. Okay, so 1 is not equal to 1B.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, there we go, David. So, we've got the refactoring done. Boom.
No, we're not done.
What? What? What's left?
We've added, but we've not subtracted.
Oh, good point. Yes, sir. You were right. You know, this is actually reminds me of something that Taylor Swift once told me. Let me slip over here to after, you know, he sent me another card and he said, you know, Taylor Swift says, an app's code is the measure of the man. Keep it trim and manicured. Know your ACBs. Accurate, clear, and brief. So we want to take out extra code whenever we can. So that's where it's brief. Accurate means it does as designed, or when the user reads it, they understand what it means. That's a type of that's a type of accuracy. Maybe clarity is a better fit for the user. The user, it's very clear to the user what's going on and they get it. And then brief is few lines of code or few words as possible, get your meaning across. So the ACB's rule is a rule of communication. So you want to, when you communicate, you want to be accurate, unless you're trying to lie to people, be clear, and be brief. If you're too brief, then you lose clarity, and so you violated the rule. So some of those rules have opposition. So if you're too brief, then you know when you're too brief because it's no longer clear. And accurate, if you're too brief, maybe you even lose accuracy. So when we think about naming things in our code and using these domain words, we also follow these rules. So when I name a variable, I want it to be accurate, clear, and brief as possible.
Yeah, not like some of these names might start function names in test that start to run on sentences, but they're not bad so far.
Well, yeah, those are probably, sometimes people have those run sentences because they can't figure out how to be clear. and maybe there isn't a way, or maybe they weren't clever enough to make it brief and clear, or maybe it was just really too complicated, so it's impossible to be very brief.
My technique in most of these things is to put in a placeholder for the thing, write it, and then come name it after I've written it. But I have a problem knowing what the title of something is before I've created the something. So I'm usually better at just putting a placeholder title into something, creating the thing, and then it goes, oh, well, this thing is now, this should be called this. It becomes obvious later, I find, from when I'm writing stuff.
Yeah.
Same with user stories and stuff. I put in placeholder names. So we've moved the atBat and duplicated it over there. So if I just start removing atBats from player, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Let's find out. Let's just let the compiler tell us. Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe your init function. So I would even say leave the init function alone for now, because the question you want the computer to help you with is, if I change the internals, does anything care? And I know it'll care on the API, so we don't even need to ask that question. So just leave it there, and then see if we can. So you can delete the self dot. You can delete line 24. Just don't change anything on line 20. And now let's see if the computer cares when you compile. All right, see what we have to update now. 4 changes. That's not too bad. And then after this, we'll tackle the other, the API part, which will be a bigger fish to fry.
So get rid of that line.
Oh, that's in our view. Makes sense.
All right. We're, what the heck happened here? Tuple view. Oh my goodness, that's up here. That's this one up here, I think.
Oh. What are we looking at here? Oh, that's our view.
A tuple view is a type of view, and it's, oh man, that's some crazy stuff. Okay. Here I'm going to delete these 2 lines.
Can I suggest that you comment it out, because I assume we're going to want to get that information from our scorecard, and this is your placeholder for where to come back. And maybe what I'm saying doesn't make sense, because right now the whole metaphor is different, because right now your player row view is a player row view. It's not a scorecard. So
yeah, and it's actually not being called anymore.
Oh, okay.
I factored that out some time ago, and this whole thing should probably be deleted.
Oh, okay.
So I did put in a comment up here that it's not being used anymore.
Oh my goodness. So we're actually maintaining code that we don't care about, is what I'm hearing.
I am. That's how good I am. I'm maintaining useless code. Yeah.
So you can decide when to delete it. If you want to delete it now, go ahead. If you want to delete it's checked into source code control, yeah. But it's up to you. If you want to delete it now or not, I don't care.
Okay. How's the best way to delete something?
Right there. Player row view, delete, boom.
Do you move it to trash or remove reference, or both? What's that mean? Do you know?
Reference would be telling the Xcode to stop referring to it.
But not.
And it might still be in your file system. To me, I don't see the both, so I'm a little unclear how you get it in one step. Move it to trash implies you're just getting rid of it, and maybe you're going to get it back out from source control or something. I'm not sure. I'm a little confused by that too. So just pick something.
I always hit move to trash.
And it got rid of the reference too, right? So,
I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it. All right. Well, that looks like the right move.
Okay. All right.
Save some effort, man. Don't want to work so hard maintaining stuff you don't need.
Yeah. And now.
Type of player has no member atBat. Okay.
So player row view doesn't exist anymore. Rebuild here. And we don't have any failing.
So I'd say you're ready to tackle the API, except first run all your tests and discover if there's any, problems.
Problems in the test. We've got to refactor some tests, I think. Let's see what this says. Player has no member atBat.
Or innings test. Okay. atBat. First inning, bottom name. Okay, so I see a bunch of players. Oh, there you are. Look at your Look at the up above. You have a bunch of players. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're ignoring those. We don't need to update that yet. So we'll have to come back and wipe that out later. But why is type? I actually can't see the player in there. Is that bottom number 2? Is that the player? First inning dot bottom number 2 should be the.
Bottom number 2 is a player. Yeah. Okay. And then that player has an atBat, and it should contain 1B.
Had an atBat, so you can delete that. That test doesn't. You just delete the test. That test isn't. You don't have that requirement anymore. You don't require your players to know their at-bats.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And this also the same problem on line 28, atBat, hstack, text.
Oh, but this is some really old code because we don't actually have player row views anymore.
Oh, this is the test for player row view. So you can delete it if you don't have a player row view, just delete this. This is more functionality you can get rid of. Huh.
All right.
Yeah, move to reference must be people who are a little unsure. They just want to leave it in their file system, but they get it out of Xcode. Otherwise, I can't figure out what that's for.
Yeah, it confuses me. It's a message that adds more confusion than delete should have. So, delete. I don't mean undelete.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to run the test again here and see if we get any more. So there's a build failure of player has no member at bat. That's the similar sort of situation there. So I'm going to delete that assert.
Yeah.
Build and run my test.
Yeah, welcome to audience members from YouTube and from Twitch. So we're now running our stream through 2 channels. So you'll see our videos on both YouTube and Twitch now.
All right, so we're in a player content view, and we're expecting that content view that player to put the at-bat on the screen. We want that at-bat to be on the screen, but we can't get it from the way we're getting it right now.
So this might be a case you care to comment out rather than delete, to remember to come back and fiddle with it.
Okay.
I don't know if you have a better way to mark that, but anyways, that's all. I don't know what else you could do. Well, okay, another strategy, you could disable them. I don't know. So I'll be honest with you, it'll be hard to remember to come back and find those unless you make a note. So
yeah.
Content view tests needs to be updated. That's basically the note. Here, I'll write it down. Update content view.
Cannot find at-bat. Oh. Okay, I got rid of the. Let me see if that. Oh my goodness! Now.
Oh, line 36.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to run them again, but it looks like it's
compiled.
Oh, okay. That worked.
Nice.
That's much better. I was expecting it to be able to pass.
All right.
Okay.
So remember, so we've done this in 2 steps to get rid of something. We got rid of the internals, but we left the API for init, keep it. And the reason why, because if we try to do too much, if the more things we do before getting feedback from the compiler and our tests, the more likely we're going to have a situation where we spend hours and hours without feedback from our system, and we'll find there'll be some big mistake that we can't easily identify because we took 2 steps instead of 1. So we just took the 1 step of getting rid of the internal use of atBat, and so we have left. What's remaining is now changing the API. So we just need to go through everywhere where there's a constructor for player is to remove the atBat. So one way to do that is to delete it from player and let the compiler tell you oh, I have all these problems about atBat, and you just click through it and delete the atBats.
Okay. So
Did that make sense why we did it in 2 steps instead of, or in a separate
multi-step,
2
yeah.
steps instead of one big step? Yeah.
Yeah, but it does to me. I probably wouldn't have normally done that, and I probably would have ended up with a lot of code that, you know.
See, the other thing it sometimes means it's a level of commitment. I didn't fully commit by leaving the API there. We didn't fully commit to removing it, and it's possible we could have discovered something that told us, wow, if we remove atBat from player, that will create some other problem we didn't even think about. And so now we did a little less work to get feedback with that first small step.
I like that argument. There is it leaves options open.
Yeah, there you are.
So now we've got all these atBats that need to come out, and this is just a chore, isn't it?
Yeah. Trying to think of another trick. You could, if you're good with the global search, just look for comma atBats and use find replace.
Yeah, I could find it and replace it with nothing, but except for the atBats are all random strings.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's why you would never want to do replace all in one step either, because you just end up changing code you don't even know about. It's too risky.
So now I'm probably in a different file altogether and doing the same sort of thing here. The innings file. So I've littered my code with
statics.
These static test things because somebody wouldn't let me use a JSON file.
You have to change it to JSON file too, but yeah.
Yeah, that would have been just the same nightmare, I suppose. I'm not sure that I don't have a bunch of. I'm uneasy with the fact that I have all this test code in here for the purposes of running some sort of test or unit test or something like that. And
oh, these aren't for unit tests. I'm pretty sure unit tests generate their own. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but if it was me, my unit tests would construct their own data inside the test. These are probably for your system or designer.
It's for that designer, the preview canvases, but it may or may not always.
I'm afraid you're going to need to spend that year of trying this out before you get the right answer, because I don't know. I don't have the right answer on the designer. I would try to accommodate it, but yeah, that was a cost there.
Okay.
Is it done? Oh, that's not too bad.
I don't think we're done yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna build and run the code and see if.
Boom! Build succeeded.
Okay. Now, that's what my screen looks like now. And that is because the view grid is expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 4 items, and now I'm only giving it 3 items, and so it's finding the next one and putting it in the wrong place and stuff like that.
So this isn't doing auto layout, it's doing something else?
Well, I changed it. You might not have been.
By the way, are your unit tests all passing? Are they all happy? Yay! Okay. So now we're Oh, what's that?
So we actually don't have any unit oh, wait.
Okay, inning
Wow, I
tests.
thought we were done, but we're not.
That's weird. I don't think it did it didn't clean build itself when it needed to do more building.
Yeah.
So in test inning test, apparently we're using atBat in the wrong spot, and then we have content view.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem to find them all on one go round. So those are players, and I can fix those and come down here and fix these players.
Okay, I want you to try something. So go to the next line and don't delete this time, but go ahead and highlight. Okay, highlight up to the parentheses. Up to the highlight the parenthesis as well. Okay, and then put that in a trigger the find replace. Where's the find replace? Okay, replace. And now replace with just parenthesis. Okay, and then don't click all. Just hit replace. And then
find the next one.
Oh, it won't do find right away. You have to hit another button. I was trying to reduce your button clicks because.
Yeah, but I'm looking for a 2B.
Oh dear. Never mind. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I need a
fancy tool.
A regex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, that didn't work.
Yeah, you know, in VI, I could do this a completely different way. And there was a time when I knew all the editing features of VI, but then I became a GUI guy.
This is kind of telling us that we should put all of our player building in one spot, maybe per test. But next time, maybe we'll do a refactoring. We'll get Taylor Swift with his scissors and see if we can chop this code down a little bit to make this. You'll still have to update some, but it would be less. I think that way. You'd have to be okay with some sensible defaults. But here you have very rich data. You have something different on every line.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with what I'm thinking about using a template method.
So I think we have most of the code, unless we find what are these? Oh, content here's view. Some more.
Yep. Yeah, no, look at that. So it says content view, player test, and I'm assuming that's the whole list, but I don't know.
Well, it's the whole list until it finds some more.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it seems to compile up to a point and then go, I give up, and I'm not going to compile anymore.
Looks like you're done in there. Player test now. So here's an idea for the future. So if you pause a second on 22, 23, 24, and 25. So you have rich data, and then you assert that you get all the rich data. I don't know that you needed all those. So it says test atBat list has player info. So you wanted a list, you wanted more than one, right? So you could have done this with 2, I think, instead of having 4. And that would have. So I guess I'm saying in the future, try to minimize the amount of code you need to write to get to your goal. Because I think in this case, you just needed a list of. Oh, and you don't even test anything but player 0, the first player. So you didn't need the list at all. You see what I mean? You just needed you only have assertions on Taylor, but you don't care about Bill, Jonathan, and Bob.
Yeah, and I think that's just that it's a bad test. It should be a richer test.
Yeah, if you're testing a list, you at least want to check that it works with 2 things rather than just the first one. But
yeah.
So if you want, right now, you could just delete some of those. But if you're in the mode of just handling the at-bats, that's okay too. Yeah, because you don't need all that. And it'll save you time later because you always have to maintain what you write. Taylor and Bob. And then
And we should probably
go ahead and
add.
duplicate that. Yeah, copy that and then fill it out for Bill Swift too. You'll need Bill's. Oh, it's just the last name? What's going on here? Oh, contains. Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm just looking for one. Position is 1.
Okay.
Okay. So
Cool.
now it's going to test for 2 people. That one's taking a while.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's no build time issues, but it's giving it a try. All right.
Ooh.
Well, we have 2 tests.
Ah, I got to index my.
Oh, there we are. We know the test is testing something. That's good.
Yeah. So I was testing the wrong. Yeah. Got all these computers. They have to have everything told to them.
Cool.
All right. So that one works. I
Yay.
wonder if there's any more tests that are
Not
gonna
right.
fail.
Right. No, I think you're good there. Now it's all about the view work, because you know that the view isn't going to look good right now. Because it sounds like the layout is just expecting something to work and it's not working.
Yeah.
Boom.
So
That's really
that's the old one.
Is that the old one? Okay. That's like, wow, how does it look so good?
It did look so good for a second. And
So-
here's the new one.
Okay. So, all right.
I think we can fix this quickly by we have a grid item here. I bet if a margin and 1, 2, 3, 4 things. If I comment this out and see if it would.
So hold on, David. What are you commenting out? Tell me about that. Oh, that's the diamond graphic. Why is that?
Well, it's not actually the diamond graphic,
Oh.
but it was originally designed to be the diamond graphic, so the comment is lying to us.
Oh, okay.
It was the atBat.
Oh, okay.
It was the position for atBat.
Oh, okay.
It was originally designed to be a diamond, but
Do you want to put the atBat in there? Like, can we not get it out of the scorecard, or do we not have a relationship with scorecard?
we don't have any of that yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I wanted to get back to kind of functioning and get that screen to look right.
Makes sense.
Now we have to start to use not the players, but the scorecard. And I don't know what that's going to require, but that may be a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, I think your view is going to change to work with scorecard, and I'm not the layout. I don't know if the layout will change. Honestly, right now, the layout to be equivalent.
Yeah. But I think maybe that's for another show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're kind of getting meaning we're getting close to time to start our Friday events. So what should we try what you're I'm not sure what outcome you're going to achieve here. Is it going to make it look good? Is that the idea if you get rid of grid items?
It's looking good right now. It's on the screen.
Oh, wow. Oh, I was assuming it couldn't. It was wow, that's great. I thought that was maybe again an old view or something.
It updated there. Here, I'll run it.
Nice.
in the simulator. So this is the simulator, and this is the display canvas thing. And that's not the right name, but the canvas. So yeah, it's looking good.
All right, man. Are we done for the day?
We lost the atBat because
Yes.
it's in a different structure now.
Yes.
And we're going to have to go in and change all this other code, and it's going to ripple through other things. That changing the atBat from one place to the other really touched a lot more code than I thought it would. But by doing it one step at a time, it was pretty, it wasn't, I never got overwhelmed with, oh my God. So that was good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So cool. So I'd say, let me just express something here. When I look at the type of view work you're doing, I call this kind of a primitive obsession. You're working with very primitive pieces, as opposed to, I've got a view, and in my view I have another kind of object, whatever it is, scorecard, let's say, and then inside the scorecard I have another smaller type of object, and the objects themselves manage rendering their piece. So the rows will be rendered by the object that handles rows. The bigger object, which would be scorecard, handles just managing listing out the smaller pieces, and where when I look at content view, it's like it's you working with primitive grid items, and it's getting data out of your object, your data models, and it's doing a lot. So you're doing a lot in content view and having to get to know everything comprehensively, rather than have each little piece build its area. So I haven't done this in Swift. I'm assuming that type of UI layout is possible. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah. The component concept is there in Swift UI, and I'm working towards that. So here's the main body of this body is the main part of content view, and content view is just it's the default name. It should probably be changed to something more baseball oriented. Like it should be the scorecard or whatever, scorecard view. But that's the content view was the default name, and we haven't changed it yet. But that's basically the declarative nature of Swift UI, where we're saying we expect to see it. We want a scroll view, and then we want a lazy grid. This stuff up here is saying how that grid is going to be laid out. And then I extracted this player row view into a private function up here that does what our player row view, the other view that we deleted, used to do. But one of the things in creating a lazy V grid, it's a new UI component for me, and figuring out how to make it a good component of other components was challenging the first time. And so this is what I came up with for the first time using it. The concept that there's an inning here, I want to put in the fact that there is 9 innings in a game, basically, and there should be a loop that it should run over for displaying each inning. So I haven't added that stuff in. So now the thing is, do I want to get back my atBat, or do I want to move on and get more innings displayed? Because the real value becomes having the whole game displayed, in my opinion, and adding the atBat and using the scorecard model structure will be kind of a next challenge to pull that in, as opposed to just doing it off of players.
Yep. I have a thought, but I don't know if it's the right thought. I feel like, do you know how to show all your innings in one? Are you going to show it like in a very small print view and you zoom in, or is it going to be a flip through each inning by gestures?
My first thought, and that's where I'm at, is just my first thought is one inning, second inning right below it, third inning, and it scroll.
Oh, a
on the screen.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That makes sense. That sounds good.
That's my first thought.
Yeah.
That's where I was going. I could see a kind of a view that disclosed, progressively disclosed the innings and that sort of thing. If you wanted to, you just see 9 innings and then you click on one and it would disclose what's below it.
Yeah. But I really like your canvas, because you're leveraging what we already have today, which is a big piece of paper, so scorecard, and you could even style it a little bit with skeuomorphism, so it looks like a scorecard on the picture. That might give people some of that nostalgia feel, since I think baseball's kind of a game for the nostalgics.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a little bit unclear now what the question was we were talking about. So it was like whether to work with atBat in Scorecard versus... You had a question a while back, and I don't know that I really answered it.
I don't think I was asking that. I think it was more of a rhetorical question. I actually have an answer. I've got to figure out what's it going to take to start to use Scorecard, which right now has a list of plays, which doesn't have anything to do with players yet. So if I were to use Scorecard currently, it has a list of plays, which is basically just the atBat encoded 1B, BB, whatever, but it doesn't have any players. So I've got to get the Scorecard to have both players and atBats and have them tied together.
Yeah, I think that sounds like where you want to go, is you want to start integrating those. So this is called composition, when you take other objects and you put it inside your Scorecard. Yeah. Cool. I think that sounds like a good thing. Anything else we should discuss before we close the show?
No, I don't think so. That's a wrap.
Yeah, and I'm not doing Christmas. I assume you're taking a break on Christmas.
We don't do a big Christmas, so yeah. I don't know when Christmas falls. I haven't even looked up that.
It happens on Friday, David. It happens on our stream day. So I don't know that I definitely can't commit to it, but if you want to meet on Wednesday and discuss it, no?
I think we should just let that one go.
Okay. And then what's happening the following week?
Then that means that New Year's would also be on a Friday.
Oh my goodness. Where's my calendar? Is that serious? I mean, wow. It is. Wow. Okay, we're kind of in we're out for 2 weeks, folks. So yeah, we're looking at January 8th will be when we come back.
Or we could do it at a different time and place.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. Yeah. I mean, because
that open.
By the way, David and audience, I'm going to take the next 2 weeks off. I'm going to be busy writing on my book, getting chapter 4 out the door, which is mostly out the door, but I just haven't had time to spend on it to get the final edits in. So and I want to get chapter 5 started. So that means you and I, we can meet anytime we want if you're flexible. Like we could do a Wednesday show if you want on, say, we could shift to Wednesday shows for the next 2 weeks if you wanted to try that.
Yeah, that'd work.
Cool. Well, let's do that. So I'll update our pre-show meetups to Mondays, I guess, and then we'll have our usual 2 days to work out things. So, all right, that's a plan, man.
I enjoyed it.
All right. So that's it, folks. We'll catch